Okay, so for those that are subscribed, you might have just noticed that I went live for the first time in a while. And so, yeah, the meetup is about to start. I'm going to make the announcement um, on Twitter, and hopefully people will join. So, looking forward to the fall session of these meetups. My son's back to school, so I have my office back, which is wonderful. Um, so anyway, let's take care of all of the social media-ness for now. And copy that link. I love the built-in keyring in KDE Plasma desktops. It's really nice. Oh, great. I need new versions of some software that's not updated with the standard package manager. I hate that. I wish more things had standard packages. And meetup. Let's get to that. Friday, September. Oh, did I cancel this? Ah, shoot. See all your events. Year events, past events. All right. August, July. Let's do this one. Organizer. Oh, there it is. Copy event. Create an event. Do it right now. Friday. See if it'll let me do 10:30 because it's not started yet. 10:30. Friday, 2 hours. Perfect. Publish. Is it September 10th already? Yeah, it is. Wow. Announce it now. Twitter. Show once. Yeah, great. Event, edit event. I think it'll just be copy current URL. Okay. Let's start. Meetup is back. Starting in 5 minutes. Live stream is live on YouTube. Tweet that. And then let's see, we might have people on Zoom. I don't know if I have people that remembered the Zoom link. See if we have people lingering here.
Recording in progress.
What happened is I had my schedule off by one day, and I thought that my workshop was actually Thursday, Friday, but it was Wednesday, Thursday, and so I had prematurely canceled this meetup. But we are back, and lots of interesting things to talk about. One of the neat discoveries that I did over the summer break was just getting some automation behind the tooling that the tooling behind event modeling. There's ONote obviously, but since everyone uses Miro for a whole bunch of other things, I started to explore some of the APIs available in Miro, and it's actually quite easy to do. And you just hack around on it with your development console in your browser, and then quite easy to publish a plugin yourself. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing. So we'll probably go over that today, and I don't expect too many people to be here. I'll continue to monitor Zoom if anyone does join for talking. It's the same old link as before. So if you're wanting to chat live on stream, you can announce yourself in the Zoom call, which I have running in the background. So anyway, on to the subject at hand, which is looking at this Miro board. I think I had it set up on my laptop, so let me just get into Miro on the regular browser here. I'll take the live stream monitoring out of the main browser. I'll tuck it away into this corner. I'll tuck away my command center for OBS to this corner. Let me just organize that a little bit more. Do I have any more here that I want on the screen? I don't think I do at this moment right now. Let's see. Minimize that. Get my console window into another corner. And I think we can start sharing. What to do. Okay. Maybe I should have these. Small scene. What is this? Video capture. Browser window. Okay, so I have a browser in there. That's good. Okay, so interesting dilemma. How to stream the browser window with the IDE at the same time. Well, you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll do the command center thing. Just walk people through setting this up. It's kind of fun. Gotta get Zoom in here anyway as well. 2 people are waiting. Okay, good. So we have some people. All right. We have people. Great. Welcome to the meetup. I hope you're watching on YouTube if you want to see stuff. I'll share the screen here too. This is going to be taxing on the computer. It's a desktop, so should be able to handle streaming on Zoom and OBS. So Let's see.
Hey.
Yeah, it's not easy, this stuff.
Yep.
It's not that it's hard, it's just there's many moving pieces to manage. Not anything technically crazy, but all right, I hope you can see the screen. I'm
I
gonna,
can see four screens.
yeah, those are my quadrants. They're one screen. I don't really have room to upgrade to a second monitor, although I will probably. Gonna get a new desk. My son, like I said, took over my office, at least during the summer and during the pandemic. So now I have it back, but I kind of don't want to move in to where he's used to sitting and working, which means I have to buy another desk for myself because I have an old kitchen table back from like years and years ago, decades ago, when I was still single living in an apartment. It's a small kitchen table that folds out nicely, so it has two sizes you can set it to, but it's definitely not a proper desk. It has no drawers. I have like a movable drawer thing on wheels beside me. It looks horrible and it's clunky and it's hard to get in and out of my chair. Not the best. Oh, you know what? I don't have. I don't have a scene with my whole desktop, or do I? Uh, God, I haven't configured OBS in a while here. Obviously, I don't ever try to share the entire um, the entire desktop on OBS, but maybe I should. Um, anyway, OBS is great software. I do like it a lot. Maybe I'll just share something that's got more live, more exciting stuff in the background than my typical background. Huh, I have a Zoom thing. I don't know if this works. Where's Zoom? Okay, so one of the things I was talking about that I want to go over uh, is the tooling for using event modeling on Miro to show progress. So one of the things that we're doing with different projects is seeing exactly um, how many pieces of work we finished, and it's really easy to do with. Oh, sorry. Thank you for the voice thing. It's I've noticed this interesting thing with the microphone. Um, this Yeti thing keeps adjusting its volume down to a low setting. Let me find my settings here. Sorry. I apologize for the low volume. I will change it right now. In my monitor, it is loud, but that's just to double check the input on the microphone itself, I think. Where are those settings? Settings. Volume. Oh, there it is. Volume Yeti. It's at 51%, so I gotta put it to 100. Okay. I hope the volume's proper now. I don't know why it
Much
keeps.
better.
Yeah, sorry about that. It keeps
It's
doing that
okay.
every time. It happened. It happened last time too when I was doing the
Yep.
workshop. So, um, but okay. So yeah, thank you, chat, for confirming that. Oh, that works well now. Okay, so let's get a scene going with the entire screen. So I want to do a scene that has me in the corner. Scene with zoom. Duplicate this. Call it scene with desktop. Okay, and that we don't need zoom. Remove. Can I just hit delete? Yes. Screen capture. Ah, there we go. Yeah, and browser. Oh, don't need browser. Cool. Okay, there we go. So now we can see my whole desktop, and All right, so let's see if I can log in. This thing's always in the way. Put that away to the side here. Okay. So in the top left corner, you have the project that we've been working on slowly to talk about event modeling, which is an event. It's an event-sourced system that does time tracking, and I have that running in JetBrains Writer. Ugh, this thing's still in the way. Yeah, so that's get out of here. So that's the project we've been talking about all the time, and I think I still have it running. Yeah, I do. So put your data in there. And we're gonna try and use this add-in to kind of schedule or track our time. So let's just say that we did something at 9 a.m. for an hour and 1 hour, and I think we were working on Walmart. Sure, log time. Does it work? No, I think it did unhook itself. Okay. So it isn't working, unfortunately.
Maybe because it's already present in the event on the left. You see like 9 a.m. 1 hour for
Yeah, but
Walmart.
I changed the date for and there is no, we allow everything. We allow duplicates right now. So if we look at the in case we post, we don't have any if statements in here to do any checking. It just writes the event. pretty dumb. The reason behind that
Okay.
is we're doing the validation on the timesheet approval. So people are making, if they're trying to do funny stuff here, they're just not going to get paid because their timesheets are not going to get approved.
Okay.
That's our one of our things that we kind
So
of.
you use a time tracker for real? It's not just like an example?
I actually am planning on it. There's a bunch of other pieces that I have in the background for time tracking as a event source system for what we do every day. So, for example, every event of having worked on some piece like the slices that we do in our solutions is kind of is exactly reflected in these events. And so when I do billing, I look at a projection of those events in simple files and add up, however many pieces were built, and then that translates into invoices for the clients, and likewise it makes the invoices for individual consultants to know how much they get paid. Event sourcing is accounting, so it just makes sense to do it that way.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun because now you're not dealing with any technologies, so it's simple files, and we use Nextcloud to share folders. Like you can see up here, it's like a Nextcloud. Oops, I have to relog in. Reopen browser. I don't know why I got signed out. But yeah, please log me in. Grant the access. Thank you. Thank you, Nextcloud. And so now it should sync up. So, there's a whole bunch of things that I did the last couple of days. I can see, I think there's a recording that I have, and the personal stuff, and video of my son from years ago that I found. I wanted to save, and then my work starts to sync up. And one of those things, you can see those were the files actually that synced up. Those were people's hours. So in Nextcloud, I share a folder with each consultant, and that's where they're expected to update their activity tracking files. And then it's just a simple sync between my desktop or my computers, my phone, my computers. All those document folders are always in sync, no matter where I am. And then I just have some scripts which are kind of neat to look at. I don't know if I can show you some of those scripts. I have it all in Fish, so I use Fish Shell, which is much better than ZSH or Bash. It has really nice things if you hit if. Get if statements on here. Let's see. I think it's just this. like anything else. What is it? Just a true. But you see it indents right away.
Cool.
And then when you hit type end, it recognizes it. It'll do that. And the nice thing is that if you recall history, go up arrow, it remembers the format. Like Bash will scrunch everything into one line, and it's just horrible, right? So really, really cool stuff. Things like string, substring. These are pretty cool things that you can do, right? Join lower, like it's way more readable than Bash. Obviously it's not POSIX compliant, but who cares? When I do my own stuff, I'm always using Fish, and if it's my own server, I'll install Fish on there and have some of these scripts run. But yeah, it's really nice. So if you haven't tried Fish, I really recommend you try it at some point. It's really cool. Dev, let's see. We have.
I wanted to ask about, like, I asked yesterday about the billing process.
Yeah.
When you work on event modeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't build the part where you build the model with the client?
No. Yeah. So a lot of times depends on the size of the project. If we do bill for the modeling, usually on a fixed daily rate for that.
Okay.
But usually that's to get a general idea of a large project. It really depends on the project, because sometimes we're asked to help with a legacy system. Sometimes it's a brand new system. Sometimes it's more about just the modeling than actual implementation. We may help with some implementation. So all those variables you have to calculate. If we're going to be, handed an entire project, we can then negotiate that only the first, day is charged, or none of it is charged if they do a deposit. It's really about you developing your business and managing risk with many clients. So yeah, I mean, ideally you don't charge for it, because then you're basically just implementing the whole solution that you work out with your client, and those are the situations where we can, do those things ideally. But those require, those need to be big projects, with enough work in them to make, the actual initial event modeling sessions, be a small cost, because you're taking people's time, right? You're working with the people in your organization.
Yep.
They can't work on other projects, so you have to get really good at that, and get, some numbers from your experience on how it goes. Yeah, so that's what I would advise. Don't, obviously don't be extremist about it. Use your common sense, and what is the situation for the client in terms of, are they a large company? What's the risk for either side? There's no simple answer, but you do have, once the project gets going, it's really nice to have these slices, right? Right now we're doing this as an example here, so this is not what we would use. This is for the meetup, where you have hours tracking. So we don't track hours, we track the slices, and those are fixed cost, and they're guaranteed. And so it would have a date, it would probably have the slice name, and you would say that it's finished, and that's all.
Okay. And so you're not afraid that you build the model with a client and it just don't continue with you and find
Well,
someone
that's
else?
obviously a risk, and then we'd be very mad that people got work from us for free, and then we'd had nothing. Right?
Did it happen before?
I don't think so. I don't remember any
Okay.
particular client that's. I think most people understand we're quite transparent with how we work, and they're not there. I haven't seen anyone come in to try and rip us off or anything. So it's been nice. I mean, clients do run out of money, and they have issues like that sometimes. So they have they have some problems, maybe, if especially as a startup. They have
Mm.
they have to raise funds and all of this stuff. So So that's kind of a problem for some companies, and we understand. And so the best answer for that is, because you have value per slice, that actually makes valuation of companies easy. And we're continually working with companies to evolve this system where you can get partial payment and the other payment is kind of done in shares. But it's nice that these shares are stuck to um, uh, the actual software, like how much has been delivered. So even if you're using people that are, not senior developers, you're going to have you have junior people that might take longer to do something. It balances out because you're still giving away just shares for working pieces, not based on subjective. I might think someone is senior, but they take longer to do something, which is okay, and then the client says, well, I'm paying too much for their time. So we don't want those kind of arguments. It's really nice to say, this project, your whole system's going to cost $500,000 because it has this many moving parts, on an event model. And then you can say, well, we can pay probably for half of it, and the other half you'll get in shares. Then you can use safe contracts and other things like that to say, here's what we can pay so that everyone has enough money to live on, but you also get the shares in the company, or options, stock options, or whatever, to to get a reward for taking a risk and helping us out for a lower price. So it's nice to use event modeling for those types of problem solving. It's always a very problematic thing, I think, when we deal with companies.
Yeah, that's why we don't like in my company we don't do like fixed price and we only bill hours.
Yeah, exactly. So that's common. So we're kind of the odd duck in everything, and it's really about understanding event sourcing and state changes and state views, because each of these things, like if I develop this, we went over this in the meetup many times.
Yep.
This whole thing, we would charge for this one particular read model, one price, the hours report, but you can see the hours report is used in multiple places. So even though it's used in multiple places in the workflow on the event model, it's a single price. So we're looking at encoding these, looking at the first line inside all of this, and here's that integration that we're talking about. So I wrote it here, right? And it just, board name is event modeling tutorial, and has 65, almost 66,000 objects. But we can iterate through those. Like if I now there's a Control Shift S, right? Control Shift S for the developer thing. No, it's not it. Is it F12? I think it's F12, isn't it? Yes, F12.
So if there is two different views with the same kind of description, it's the same. You build it as only one.
That's correct. Yeah, because in the code, it's a read model, right? Like for example,
Okay.
here we have this model that we get back. So, this particular view in here is. Come on, what's going on here? There we go. Yeah, this particular view would be this, right? And it's showing you what happened last workday and what happened earlier. We have a build model. Oh, sorry, we're building the model here. So this is the model right here. Model add. So Control B. I'm not sure if you can read that. It's pretty small.
Kind of. Yep.
So this read model here now has just a couple of collections in it of yesterday and today. And so this code is really represented by this green box here. And this green box, sorry, these two green boxes. Sorry, these are the two things, right? And it's this read model. It's this thing here that sits here. And this is guaranteed to continue to work. And this same code is reused in the workflow in a number of steps, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
that's
So
so one of the things that I'm talking about when I started the stream today was to discuss the how you make a report here. So this little addition that I put here, this little event model statistics, it's a plugin that I wrote. I'm not sure if I have this mounted actually. Let's just see if I have it mounted. No, I don't have it mounted. Do I even have it? I think I had it. Have it done on my laptop, but do I have it here? I do have it as yes, I do. I wonder if it's mounted. Alas. Okay, so it's not mounted. So if I do sudo mount a, should remount everything. Get my handy password thingy. So now I should be able to see it. Yeah, there it is. So it's mounted on event modeling. Now I can open up. I think I was doing this in WebStorm last time. I'm doing really bad hacking on this. I don't even have a Git repo for it, and the code is actually on the server. So I'm actually coding on the server. I just do a SSHFS mount, which is essentially mounting a drive over SSH on another computer, and just coding right on the server. It's actually the script actually exists on eventmodeling.org in a Miro subfolder. So this code you see up here in the top left. So this little solution here of doing this when you click on this item, that's going out to, I think we can see it in here. Where is it? Network. Yeah, see event modeling sidebar.html right there. Let's see. Let's open up that project. I don't want to open this one. Open.
so you're still recommending to use Miro?
No, I don't.
Or not?
There's so much. I don't recommend it. The only reason I'm doing it in Miro is because I talked with Bobby about this about a couple of weeks ago. That the ONote person, a really good guy, making everything for event modeling exclusively in that. And so we need a bridge from Miro to ONote. So we need to show the advantages of doing event modeling in Miro, but then also make it painfully obvious to people where some of the canvas limitations in Miro start to really add up. And then they say, okay, well, we're really using event modeling quite a bit. What is there a better thing than Miro? I mean, we like the fact that we get some value from like a little plugin here that'll show, burn down charts for project management and things like that. But can we do all these other things in a less clunky way than with this, this repurposing of Miro? And that's how they will move to ONote more naturally, because they'll have a gradual kind of migration path. And of course, because you can read all the objects, there's an easy export you can implement here of any Miro board into the event modeling kind of abstract syntax tree, the document kind of format that we're slowly building as a standard that, ONote and other companies can implement. What is the matter?
So if next week you have to do like a fresh new events modeling with a client, will you use ONote?
We can't yet because it doesn't have some of the features like doing scenarios below. I'll show you in a second here. Why is this not opening? Oh, here it is. It is opening. Just my eyes are not open. Where is it? Event modeling the. Or no, that's not it. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I want to look at Miro. See, there it is, Miro. That's actually on the server. So this directory, because I did this mount, this directory is actually sitting on the actual server that's serving up eventmodeling.org. Playing with fire here. So it'll give me a little error. See, external file changes sync may be slow. Well, yeah, because that's a network mounted directory. So WebStorm is smart enough to realize that that directory doesn't give some of the iNotification about the file system messages, and things will be slow, but I don't care. This is a tiny project with just a hacking file. So let's take a look at here. Index. I think I was working on it last night just for fun. So yeah, I started to add, oh my god, what happened to my theme? I don't think I ever ran, I don't think I ran WebStorm on this computer. I think it was always from my laptop. Let's just get rid of that appearance. Thought there was a quick way to do it. I don't think I have any plugins installed on this one, so I can't do the material theme quickly. I just want dark. I hate the white background. Maybe for the stream it's good to have a white background. Maybe it's more readable for people. I know that I have bad eyes, and I can't stand looking at white backgrounds. I can see all the other garbage floating in my eyes, so I like the black background. Let's fix that then. Edit, file, settings. Oh, interesting. Why is this not loaded? This thing doesn't have a quick way to search. Come on, guys, why don't they have a search on this?
What are you trying to show right now?
Right now I'm just getting the Miro library installed. I don't think I do it from here. I think I can just hit here, Alt Enter, download library. Yeah, this is it. So I can download the library, and here, because I want to do a little graph of. So one of the things that you noticed is that, yeah, we charge for a specific read model, view of state or change of state. So when you get a report of all the things on the event model, you can say that, you can have a graph of the reuse that you have in your project. Because if you're reusing, like in this case, we're using the re-hours report all over the place, you can identify kind of on the business level your amount of workflow pieces that are being reused, which is a higher, proper, responsible level to show reuse to business, because business doesn't care that you're reusing your, some parsing code for parsing a date or something. They care about, workflow steps that you're reusing inside. That's more identifiable to business folks. Of this, code reuse at this level is way more useful to business. So you can count these up. If I go to the console, I think I can do, what was it, Miro? Miro dot, was it widgets? I think it's Miro.ui. Trying to remember. Or is it board? Yeah, it's board dot UI. Or is it widgets? Yeah, widgets. Widgets, get, I think. It's a promise, it's fulfilled, so I can probably just do await. Should be good. There we go, there's your array. So yeah, these are all the objects in this whole thing, and you can just enumerate them. You can see a structure of one. So sticker, line, text. We can look at, so stickers are these things. You can see a little background, and I usually use rectangles because stickers have a limit to the characters you can put in, and it's annoying. But rectangles, which is just shape, allow you to type quite a bit more. So you can quickly iterate and find, where a particular text is. Right here we have quantity. So quantity equals 4. Not sure where that is, but that's one of the objects. So you should be able to find any of these things very quickly. And this little code here is, kind of how we can quickly filter on the shape. And then I'm just trying to add, what's it called? The individual pieces that'll be in here. So you can have a list of all the different read models and all the little commands. But the more important thing for large projects, and we find this, we have, I was talking about the large projects we're working on for an insurance company that has probably over 1,000 workflow steps now, which is crazy big. But that's not the indication of how many read models we have on there. They're smaller. So it'd be nice to have a chart of exactly both things. What is the budget for this whole project based on the unique names of read models and command handlers? And also, how far are we done if we don't have some of these slices finished? Because that's a different number. That number is what the budget of the project is, but there's a different timeline, and that starts to reflect the realities of delivering the whole thing. Now, obviously, if you're reusing something, those slices are going to be done much quicker in terms of when you're looking at the workflow steps, because you're reusing something in it. Like, obviously, this is done quite quickly as we move through these. So, all of this here, as soon as I'm done the read models and these two read models and command handlers here, these two slices, I'm pretty much done with this entire workflow, because that logic should make all these steps work. And then I can mark them as done, and then you see something on the left here showing quite quickly, that is all green now. People can go test that part of the workflow. So I was researching something last night about just showing different types of charts, etc. So I started to import the D3 JavaScript library to do the graphs on here on the left-hand side, and that should be kind of easy to do. But just a little secret. There's a sidebar in index.html where you can that little graph icon. Here's the SVG for it if you want to play around and make your own, make a little happy face or something. But all of this is under eventmodeling.org/Miro/these files here, right? You can see right here where that is if you want to play around with it. Eventually, I'll just make this an open source thing, so as a community we can make our own. And the goal for it is, obviously, we have a new frame here, so we can just say, let's call this, what are we gonna call it? Let's say add track time, something like that, track hours. And that could be called a workflow. So what happens with these large projects is that they're organized in these areas on the event model. Like track hours is quote unquote a feature, right? Over here we might have a feature where we have approval, right? So if I go in and add, where's my region? Where are these frames? That's not it. That's a sticky note. Templates, no. Why is it not on here? Sticky capture. Am I blind? Where is this thing? I want another one of these. How come I can't do that? Do I have to right click on here? That's odd. I really didn't have enough caffeine this morning because I can't. Oh, I see. It's just the ... threw me off. There is a little scroll bars here if I'm looking at something small. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter how much experience I have with Miro, even. It's still stupid things like this come up. So what is this? Oh, charts. But I guess I'm not sure if. I don't think programmatically it's easy to get these things like charts. That'd be interesting to see if we drop a chart in here. If we can actually get this, or if it just shows up as a regular shape, right? And if we rerun this, that should be the last object that was added. So it should be somewhere on the end here. Where's the type? Oh, it's line. So did it... So I'm guessing it is a bunch of shapes. That says untitled chart. I thought that would be... Oh, look, there's an emoji. Interesting. Sticker shape, line. Oh, that's odd. Why do I have an emoji? That's weird. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Oh, just a thumbs up. Huh. Okay, I don't know that it treated emojis as a separate object. That's really odd. Alright. Well, we learned something about Miro. Okay, so... Oh, no, wait. I looked at the wrong one. Hold on, I had the wrong one opened up. Let's look at this one. I clicked on the old one. So this should have it. Type mockup. Interesting. See, bar chart weight. So I wonder what this is. So I guess we could make our own things here for actually putting our charts into the event model. Anyway, I'll have to dig into that. Mockup type bar chart widget. Interesting. Okay. Very cool. So anyway, the first goal is to understand that we have. I got distracted. Let me add this frame. There it is. Frame. That's what I was looking for. Frame. Custom. Okay. Good. So if we have another part of the workflow like here, which is all about approving hours. Come on. So if we take all this and we say that, right, that's hour approval feature, right? We can rename it. Hours approval. I actually want, like, this project is an example project. We still do hourly billing for like, you know, if someone wants us to help them with the DevOps part of doing event sourcing or whatever, we still have an hourly rate for those things. We always have like it's about 10% for most projects, about 10% of the budget. And so we always have two statements of work. The statement of work that talks about the main project and getting all the slices in, all the command handlers and all that. That's how it's sized. And then there's always a kind of a catch-all statement of work that captures any off by one kind of work that's outside of the scope of delivering the actual, you know, business logic. And we're just helping them. So that's nice to have that to just catch any spare hours there that we may have. Yeah. So anyway, that's the way that works. But okay, so if we have these areas that show different workflows now, I wonder what type that is. Let me just add that. Is a mockup still? This is odd. So interesting. So widgets are not the frames. Okay, so that's interesting. Anyway, what I've done is I haven't. Oh, I've just screwed things up, didn't I? By moving that. Anyway, we identify these areas with rectangles, and if you have a rectangle that contains another one, you can see if that has. Let me just show this code here. If it starts with like a, where is it? With a W, right? So if we have the name actually starting with a W, that means it's a workflow area, and any command handler and event model inside, event handler or read model or command handler inside is going to be associated with that workflow, and that's needed to track a large project because someone wants to know, hey, are you guys done with the hours approval yet? Right? And we can say we're halfway done, and we don't want to have to track that in Jira or anything else. We want this to be reflected by what's on the event model. People usually, right now it's a manual process in the sense that developers write down their initials and whether it's done or not. The word done, not done, or in progress is parsed out through this, and we make a report on how many things are done and not done via that method. But Miro also has a proper API that you can, use curl commands from here. So you can do curl miro.com / I think boards, and then the ID of your board, and then / widgets or something, and it'll give you a list of the widgets. But it also does posts where you can alter these things. So you could easily hook this up to a Jira ticket if your client is using Jira and all that. And so you could have a bi-directional update. So if someone updates a Jira ticket or they merge something to a QA branch, meaning it's finished, that feature is finished, you can find, for example, all the read models that are in, inside a QA branch and start to, make some assumptions about the solution. So you could have a bi-directional kind of communication with the actual code, which is, I don't think is complete, because you could have a command handler that's done, but you're still working out the details of the rest of the workflow. So we're seeing how far it goes, the integration to your CI/CD. You certainly can, for something that's finished, hook up telemetry and through this Miro call, actually have updates of like this. This read model has a little, this read model here has a little chart of how often it got used, and you can start to float over like, which users used it, today, all sorts of cool statistics that are just superimposed on top of this. And that's going to be kind of a hacky thing, because it doesn't really have proper placement for those things. So it may have to be put in a sidebar that reflects those. But things like ONote will have that, as a first-class citizen. So when people start to get hooked on this type of work, they're going to have, an easier time moving to ONote, because they'll see that the possibility is there that I can actually hook this up in a meaningful way on an event model, to start tracking things with existing systems that my clients have, like if there's a Jira or a Trello board or whatever, or the CI/CD pipeline. It's really nice, or even the production environment running, to see those things light up on your event model would be pretty cool. And then of course it becomes better than a blueprint. It becomes a dashboard as well. So not only are you building it, you're kind of seeing the entire system schematics for how your system works. You're probably able to flip a switch and say, this is a heat map of which part of the event model is currently being used, with a history of the last 5 minutes or whatever, which is really, really cool. So the exact thing that you used to build the system now lights up when the system is live and shows you all the usages of the system in different areas. Also, where there's exceptions, you can start to have little red areas that start to underline there's a lot of exceptions going on with these particular workflows. I mean, this is the dream of having a proper CI/CD, hand in glove with the solution. An event model gives you such a great canvas for having that real-time view into systems. So that's the goal of this, is really to open people's eyes that, yeah, if you think about state and state changes, that is the granularity that's going to allow this type of integration to be useful. It's the right bite-sized chunks of info about your system. So that's this is our first real kind of live stream of the fall for this year, and we're gonna try and see how to bring this back indoors for real meetups. I think I'm fully vaccinated, and there's vaccine passports now and all this kind of stuff. We're gonna try and do that. So we'll probably have something from the office where there's people in the office participating. We can start using sticky notes again and have some fun activities, but also continue to stream it for everyone around the world. So that should
Cool.
be fun. Yeah. But any questions so far about my goals here about these event modeling statistics and the integration back and forth between different systems? Um, Hopefully, it gives you a good idea of like where we're gonna take all of this and really help companies, be more productive and informed about how their projects are going.
Yeah, I think it's valuable if it's like a really big project, but sure, I feel like maybe it's a bit overkill if you're like on a small size project on kind of small
Yeah,
medium.
yeah, it probably is. I think you're right. I think for some very small projects, it would be ridiculous. You kind of know how far you are along, and
But
you can, yeah.
yeah,
But
but I
that,
understand that like with your client with 1,000,
yes, this is
uh,
where the problem is. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
you need that.
Oh wow, look at that. Huh. Lots of. I'm not sure if Miro is very compatible with Firefox. Anyway, but yeah, absolutely. So the idea is to show that event modeling is built to scale for large projects. So as you continue to do this analysis, if I start to analyze fields, inside my read models and things like that, I can do some preliminary checks for completeness. And one thing that irritates me about Miro actually is that in these objects, I'll show you an example. There doesn't seem to be a property for let me find a shape here. Is it this one? What is this? Painted. That's nothing. Okay, so that's just a square. Let's find a shape that actually is one of these read models or something. No, no text in that one either. I should be doing this programmatically, just filtering for things that have.
Yeah,
This is painful, right? But
for sure.
my brain is fried after this whole week, because I had to wake up at 4 a.m. for 2 days to
Oh,
deliver
for
the
the meetup,
workshop. So I'm
for
like
the workshop, yeah.
I'm running on fumes. But yeah, it's kind of like overtired. Everything's funny, your head is just.
Yeah. And did the content change since the first
Yeah, yeah, we're
workshops?
doing a lot more of these, of looking at uh, large project management with it. We're a lot more strict on some of the patterns and why, and trying to find ways to expand and contract the event models for succinctness. So it's always evolving, and I think all the workshops will always be including more and more information, because we have so much feedback from clients and from people in the community that are using it. So we're always going to be adding more information, and but if you've gone to a workshop before, you can always come back and get a refresher. I think I can give you all the differences. So if you've attended one, we can always
Yeah,
discuss
I
the.
did the first one, I think.
Yeah. So which one? The large one in November, or the smaller ones,
Uh,
or the ones from the Vaughn series?
the Vaughn series.
The Vaughn series. Yeah, so we did add a
Yeah.
few things. Unfortunately, some things got left out because one of the people that presented with me last time, he had a serious problem with a death in the family, so he couldn't attend. So we actually have to give that material out to people via email. Because of the timing of this tragedy. So yeah, there was some things missing, but some new things. But yeah, if you went to the first one, we can do a catch up. I'll talk to Vaughn. We might be able to do that sometime next month, because I'm planning to do a nice event modeling conference again, like last November, a large one with a lot of different speakers. I think last year we had Jimmy Nielsen and some other, people that have been in the related space for quite a long time, right? So, yeah, I think we'll probably do something with Vaughn for this one. I'm sure he is wanting to be involved, and he's got a lot of stuff to show as well because um, of his automation framework, mostly in the Java space, right? But
Yeah.
so everyone's doing something, and so there's a lot of nice things that we could bring in as one large kind of still online. I think the pandemic is still going to be going in November, so we're kind of thinking, late November. You don't need a lot of time to set it up, so we'll start advertising that, and it'll be a event modeling slash event sourcing kind of uh, conference like we did last time. That was kind of, it was more of a workshop, and I think these conferences will be more applicable things, not just presentations. I think there'll be a lot more workshop like kind of real world application sessions rather than just presentations with people talking about concepts as a more of a traditional conference, right? We want to be more hands on. This stuff has always been about getting things done and getting on with it. Stop talking about concepts. Let's just make sure that the thing can work. So I think the conference will always be, have a more practical aspect to it. So, but before that, yeah, I'll talk to Vaughn and his wife about getting some of the past participants in for like here's a catch up, maybe an hour session for questions and answers and discussing the difference, because it's important that you took the workshop, might as well just get all the updates to it. And I think I'm also going to just add discounts. Not that the main conference is going to be expensive, but maybe give out free tickets or significantly discounted tickets for people that attended any previous workshops. You should have a ton of people. It should be fun.
Yeah. And the people attending the workshop, are they like familiar with event sourcing, or do you have like
It's all over the place. So mostly they are. I think people that are looking for event modeling come from they already have experience looking for something, and they already discovered event sourcing, CQRS, maybe domain driven design, maybe event storming. They already went and tried all these things, and maybe they had, some difficulties or incomplete information on some things, and so they want to learn, event modeling to see if those problems are resolved because of extra, things you can do with event modeling. And so I think most of the time it is, but that's my guess. There are some people that are entirely new, which is great. I mean, I wish I had this. I said it in the workshop. If I had this event modeling available when I was working, for example, at Pay by Phone as the architect there, and dealing with a ton of legacy, this would have helped so much. We would have been way better off, and we would have had no dungeon masters and that kind of stuff. It would have, like, the information would have been so much easier to get at and get people up to speed so much quicker. The ramp up time to be productive with that real large old system was quite long. So retaining good employees was really hard because people just got, dismayed that, hey, I'm not really being productive here, and smart people left for other places. So employee retention was tough because it wasn't easy to explain how to start being productive and where everything lived and all that. So more likely it was really the explaining the complex data schema that was used, because it was if you can imagine a monolithic large system, how many tables there are and why they exist, and I think a lot of people have been there. So I wish I had this
yeah.
earlier. So the people that are coming to the workshop that are new to the industry, that get event modeling, learned earlier, I think it'll really help them because it puts the frame of mind for at least information systems in regular line of business, that it's about state and tracking state properly and being able to kind of debug the workflows from a business perspective. As you step through code, you want to step through workflow steps, and that mentality is a lot easier to attain with this. So anyway, I've been talking quite a bit, but it's nice to chat with folks. It is a meetup, right? So it's not It's not a coding
presentation.
screen. It's not a coding screencast where I'm just working through my problem. I probably should do a Twitch thing and just work on these things on Twitch, and people can just have it in the background and watch how I struggle with JavaScript. But yeah, some people like watching people struggle, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, that's the plan for this. I really think having answers for large projects is going to be key, um, and so that's the goal here, and so moving, showing just exactly how you could track your progress and all sorts of things, or even once you get these things and you have the information in here, you can do all sorts of things, including code generation. So if you have some code that you used in your applications, you can start to cross-reference them, with the names of the read models, and you can see generally how you do, event handlers and all that. And then once you make some more additions to the event model, you can quite easily, automate quite a bit here just by yourself, just from the fact that you have access to this stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, I think it will be really good, and it just needs to show. I think it needs to show the large scale that you can bring these things to. And the nice thing about Miro is that it does kind of start to fail after quite a lot of objects. I mean, we're pushing the limit here with 65,000 objects. I definitely came to this board once or twice, and an image didn't load up. I'd have to refresh the browser because something didn't show up. so so you can already see the browser struggling with this canvas, right? And this is why we
Hey,
need custom tools. And so that's what's going to drive people to look for event modeling specific tooling, because Miro is going to get in the way. Like with anything, I mean, you can automate a system with Excel, but then eventually you're going to say, like, I'm writing a lot of functions, and it's really tiresome to write functions as in Excel sheet entries. Can I get a programming language? So you start writing extensions, um, to the sheets and VBA if you're using Microsoft stuff, or Python, or whatever Google Docs supports. But then at some point you say, well, I might as well just program something. So I think it's the same. It's analogous to people using something, like event modeling in Miro, and then going, this is getting a little tedious. Yeah, it is, because it's built for everything, like Excel is built for anything. But if you're trying to do a specific application like event modeling, then you probably want something that's built for event modeling. Right? But you get started with it. Like, I can start to automate my business. Maybe I'll do some accounting in Excel for a while, and then at some point I'm going to say, this is getting tedious. I'm going to buy a accounting package. Yeah, it's no different here, and I'm happy that there are products that are being built for.
cannot agree more. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Rafael. How are you? We were supposed to have a meetup with you, but
Yeah, we will have.
okay.
We are,
Speaking of
finishing
people,
off those.
speaking of people building
Yeah.
tools, Rafael is building Modelution, which is a way to do event modeling and event sourcing and other event-driven diagrams in a better canvas that doesn't fall apart after so many objects.
Yeah, well, there are some interesting things over there. So apart from the canvas, we also have some code generation, but it's tailored for everybody. Everybody can do it differently. And there's the integration with Jira for the ones that needs that. So those three things are essential, and you can build. You've got event modeling supported. Right now we are finishing off labeling and swim lanes. So within 2 weeks, maybe a week even.
Yeah, so this would be
we
really good to have for the fall
Yeah,
conference. which is going to be November. I haven't announced it officially, but we're making
So
plans.
some screenshots or small videos you can grab from the page, our page. There are already there.
Yeah,
so
I sent people from the workshop, which just finished with Vaughn. I sent people as homework assignment to go through your site on Wednesday to make sure that they understand, where the tooling is moving, because I think it's a really good background since we've been in this space for a long time, and we kind of know where things need to go. What
Thank you a lot.
Yeah, of course. And so they had to do kind of a homework assignment to make sure they're familiar with where things are moving. It's important, right? I mean, like I said, with Excel and accounting packages, I can do my accounting in Excel, but eventually I need to buy my accounting package as I scale up. And so the same thing here. You can use Miro for a while, but then you're going to start to hit limits. And if you want to keep going, you need something that's built for the purpose. So, yeah. I'm glad you're here, Rafael. I know we were planning on having you officially here. Maybe we'll do a podcast episode on Monday or something, because I know Vaughn has recorded one. I have about 5 or 6 episodes in the bag, so it would be good to have one. It's all about event-centric approaches. It's on the YouTube channel. Yeah, so we could probably do that as well. We can make it make it a podcast episode, but have video for people to participate in and look. Still make it kind of a community thing. Maybe just turn the microphones off, but we can then publish that as a podcast episode too. Bobby did one, Vaughn did one, Jamie Corkhill did one, which is a really awesome young developer that does a lot of cool stuff. So there's a few good episodes done, but there's a break for the summer. I just couldn't.
I can tell you that those swim lanes that we implemented, they ended up doing a redesign of the UI a little bit.
No, that's good, I guess. I mean, more work for you, that's bad, but hopefully it improves the solution.
Yeah. So the videos are a bit outdated, to be honest, because the things has changed a little bit. It looks that the product right now looks to me a little bit more like Google Earth, where you've got just maps and there are different maps on the same stuff. And right now there is one scale. You can zoom in, still zoom out, but we are planning to change this.
I'm hoping that the live stream on YouTube captures your voice. Were you able to hear people that were on Zoom on the YouTube channel? Do you know?
I don't know. I think
OBS captures output of anything. I hope.
I don't know. OBS.
Then they'll just hear my voice, and that's it. And that's not going to be good.
I don't know. I've checked YouTube and I heard you very well on YouTube.
No. I know that my voice comes through. I'm just worried about your voice not coming through right now.
I don't know.
Oh no, it comes through. I just checked on my phone.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, good. Well, it's nice to be back for the fall. One of the things that makes me really happy is that my son is not monopolizing my office, so I feel more comfortable to be able to do things here at home, and at work it's good. But then whenever I get into the office, Tim and the others are there working on stuff, and they have see an opportunity to get some answers out of me on certain things, and so my time is also monopolized. So it's really nice to have my office again, and I hope.
So, are you planning to have those meetings every Friday?
Yes. Plus some of these podcast things. I got to reschedule the meetup. Rework the schedule, because I think the podcasts I'm just going to put in once a month and schedule and reschedule them depending on guests' availabilities. It's I tried to do it with Simon Wardley, but the schedules were really bad. I wanted to do one with him on Wardley maps. I'll reach out to him once I say that it doesn't have to be on Mondays, and then hopefully we'll have that podcast episode out. And then we can launch with 10 10 initial episodes, something like that, sometime in November, and then keep it going. But yeah, exciting. I mean, this is, not only do we have ONote, now we have Modulution. Now I'm doing this little add-in to get people hooked on the fact that there is some automation here, and once they see that Miro is the bottleneck, they'll jump to the products to get the next level. So
awesome.
yeah,
I'm looking forward. So far, yeah, so good.
Yeah. How was your summer? How was it nice to have your son back in school?
Great.
Good.
He was actually on holidays, on trips, on pack camps. So
Oh, right. So you had you didn't have him in your office like I have my son in my office.
no,
Okay.
no, I didn't. No, I didn't. and now since he is kind of also interested in computer science, I bought him some training.
Oh,
we'll
well,
see.
just send him our way. We have work.
We'll see.
Given some people how some people code, I'd be happy. I would be happy with his.
He is still like 9. We'll see.
I've seen some interesting programmers in my time, so I think he'll be okay.
We'll see that.
That's when I started programming. It was probably around that age, about 1983, a long time ago. Yeah. Was it 83? Yeah, fall of 1983, or was it 84? Something like that. Anyway, I'm off by a year. It gets foggy when I actually got that as a gift for Christmas.
How was your holidays?
Work. A lot of work. There was no holidays because I think the whole world is waking up that they have to keep the business going, pandemic or no pandemic, and also people are realizing that it's harder to hire people. So it's been good. We can, the nice thing is delivering features for a fixed cost and guaranteed work is a good trade-off for companies, because then they know if they buy a component from us to develop that it's going to be done this specific way we keep talking about. So they're going to get an event model, they're going to get command handlers, they're going to get read models, some standard stack like React front end, very typical, nothing out of the ordinary, and they get the bonus of having event sourcing behind the scenes to integrate easily with.
Yeah, we will have the stack in pure.NET.
Yeah, perfect. So we can adopt .NET, and for those that want .NET,
Blazor server side.
Yeah, of course.
Flux.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's.
I was totally surprised that it plays so well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots. Especially for government projects, there's a lot of people that have a contract with Microsoft. So having a .NET stack is really good. Working with Vaughn on the Java stack is going to be really good too. So we should have really good plugins for many, many choices. Just like we have an event store, we have.
Most likely, I'll have a plugin for Axon.
Oh, Axon, yeah. Axon is good. You should probably go on the podcast with Sarah.
I've talked with them.
Oh, you did already? Oh, good.
Yeah, I did.
You should tell us when your episode will be live.
No. I wasn't talking on a podcast. I was just talking with him.
Oh, yeah. No, you should do a podcast about.
Well, I will do the podcast when public beta is available.
Okay.
So this is basically the timeline. When the public beta is there, then we'll do more stuff with Event Store and with Axon, and then things will go on. We are experimenting a lot, especially those swim lanes were kind of crazy because they ended up being coordinates of a map. So you've got meridians and
Yeah.
And so this component was a little bit more complicated than we thought before.
Mm-hmm.
This is one thing. The second thing was that code generation has so many extension points that this was a little bit also troublesome because we don't know where people want to configure it. And so like there are so many places.
Yeah,
How people
at least with event source stuff, you have a lot more opinion as to where things should go. I think with traditional
like
stuff,
I think
it's
that you know exactly how you wanted it to go, but companies don't
that's
often
okay.
have this kind of straight opinion.
That's okay. I think for the first time, I'm actually of the opinion that you should have a specific thing kind of given to you as a way that it works, because like I keep talking about, the events and the state itself is a good integration point. Now the other things that come up is tokens for who's logged in as you pass things from one system to the one that you
the thing is
generated.
rather the model that would work for the templates that generate the code. So this is the problem here. Like we provide some already built-in models, but we are still thinking about the API. How do you want to extend those models? Because we already know that you might have architecture where you would have, let's say, controllers. Okay, so you want to generate a controller with many actions, right? This is one approach. But the second approach, I don't want to have controllers. You want to have this minimal API or whatever it's called in Microsoft, or Carter project or Nancy project, where you have those like roads and you map them to the delegate, right? So no controllers, different classes, right? Similar but different, right? And there are like many things how to do it. So right now we almost can do anything, but this ends up with API which might not be so easy to consume, and we want the API to be very simple, so that if anybody wants to tweak, basically everybody wants to tweak. This is the end story. And story is that everyone wants to tweak it on their own.
Well, I mean, what I always say is that 100% automation is not the answer. You want,
exactly
80% automation or 90% automation.
Yeah.
You can see the first forays into AI with, the code, what's the thing that got added to Visual Studio Code to look at, scrape GitHub for that kind of stuff. It's
we do have the license for it, by the way.
Yeah, it's kind of lame.
GPT-3.
If you want to be average, that's what you want to do. You want to take like bad practices that are sprinkled.
No, I'm
GitHub.
not talking about the Visual Studio. I was talking about GTP3.
Oh, okay.
Because for this you need to have license. You need to get access to it. You cannot like get it like straight away. Yeah, it's funny. Well, anyhow, hopefully soon the beta will be out. The site is there, available. The idea behind it is that the free version will be available for small teams. So small teams.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering about your, your model. We know Onote's model for the amount of collaboration and how it's free for just the project itself, but then you add the collaborators as the way to monetize. So how are you monetizing?
Well, we are monetizing on bigger teams or companies.
Okay.
So
it'll be free for me. This is good.
Yeah, for sure it will be free. But in general, for small teams, it shall be free. So we will set up the limits for blocks, set up initial one, and then set up monthly new blocks. And then in such a way, small teams can still, work it out and use almost all the features. However, if you want to, have many teams and share the schema between projects and things like that, then you need to buy, and then there's basically a license for a user, right? So this is one model, a team software as a service. Then there's the third option, and I suppose this is your option. So basically the consultant and software houses.
Yes.
And And there will be certainly two models there. One is where you want the end customer to pay for the license, or
Yeah,
you
that's
want...
actually a really good thing that you bring up, because that's always a pain in the ass when you have any one of these software as a service things. You know, I have my account with Miro, and I have to add them as guests, or I have to force them to, you know, to sign up and then invite me as a guest. It's always clumsy, you know.
So basically two
yeah.
modes here. One mode is where the end customer is paying.
Mm-hmm.
And the second mode is when you are paying, but you will be able to manage all your customers.
Yeah.
So you will have the customer management features where you can.
I don't have that in Miro. You know, Miro.
Well,
is
I
not,
know that there is no
horrible.
thing like that
Like
in Miro,
you should see the mess. I mean, I can just click.
I know,
on this,
I
right?
know. Like I used Miro for that as well, so I know you're paying.
All these clients, look at all this crap. It's just
exactly
horrible.
Yeah. So you'll get it, basically customer management, you know, features where you can set up the access and so on and so forth, and it's secure and it's no more guest access, and you don't need to pay for the you know, your customers, only for your people.
Oh, here's the thing we covered that while we're on the subject. This is something I covered as the difference between event storming and event modeling. It's a really good example that came up in the workshop. I'm just going to move it down so we can just concentrate
What's
on that. The difference between event modeling and event storming. You know, the whole idea of policy, kind of just throwing things as, I have a policy to deal with that, and that's good enough. If you actually expand what a policy is supposed to do when you're implementing and the information flow, you know, the policy itself is probably a process manager or something, but you do have, you can't have, you know, an event transformed to a couple of events just because you have a policy. You need to expand this. And so once you start to look at what is inside this, you know, you have the full event model, and this is more useful because on the event model you identify other things such as, hey, are you going to have, you know, 2 services on one event store instance, and then do you have another instance for another service on the same server? You know, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're doing serverless, I guess, but you you can apply this with different things like regions, international regions, etc. In this case, you're talking about, you know, a temperature thing where you have an external temperature service, and you do a publish of a public contract or public event inside your thing, inside your system. And then you have subscribers, the 2 of the subscribers that further transform that. And we talked about, you know, ACL and things from DDD about that. So that's another, you know, someone was asking about, you know, what did we add to the workshop this time around? We did a lot more clarification of ACLs and just how event modeling does attain the same goals of other disciplines, such as the domain-driven design, event storming. What do the same concepts look like in event modeling? So this is, I just wanted to make sure that that we looked at kind of what happened during the workshop and how it's progressed. And I'm going to have updates for people that did attend the previous workshops to get an update as to the new material, which is good. And so this is part of the new tools that are out there for event modeling. Is another new thing that we added. But
yeah, well, this certainly will have some kind of correspondence with Modelution, because we have a built-in translation or between models of a event storming design level and event modeling.
Oh, that's great, because there's a ton of companies out there that get hooked on event-driven architectures.
Yeah, exactly. This is why we did it.
And then they want to go to implementation, and then they say, "Whoa, event modeling is really good. Can we reuse these events in the event model?" Right?
Yeah. Exactly. This is why we did it. And so basically those are like 2 views on the same thing. Like on the map,
a different projection.
Like a satellite view and then a street view, right?
Yeah, I did it with Wordly maps, right? By doing the strategy from,
Yeah, but
even the
whirling
higher.
maps are like
That's
a
a higher,
higher level,
that's a
right?
much higher level. Yeah, that's like
Exactly.
which
So it's
planet,
a different
which
scale,
planet do you
right?
want to be on? Forget about your
Exactly.
map.
Yeah, it's a totally different scale, and even between whirly maps and event modeling, there should be something in the middle, in my opinion. So certainly, yeah, there are like tons of maps that should be there to visualize things, and they shouldn't be intimidating. Like I find Miro intimidating, and one of the comments that I got from a survey was that a few people told me that Miro is like childish, like like
Childish,
using.
like simplistic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's intimidating even for people to use it, for business to use it, because like what? You are just drawing, it should be like a rocket science. At least it should look like a rocket
Well, I
science,
don't know.
right?
I don't know about that. I think what we should be looking at should always represent the complexity in your business, the real complexity of your business.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah. I'm just saying about look and feel. No, nothing about.
oh, I see. Like all these things on the left, it looks kind of cartoonish, like for
Yeah,
children to draw.
exactly. They do.
It's like a
They
cartoon.
look cartoonish. The blocks, the colors, the borders, and the things. And
It
this
doesn't
should
look
look
professional, right? It's like if you get a
exactly.
Microsoft product like Visio or something, you're like, okay, this is meant for a serious project. I'm not gonna
Well,
be
Visio
I'm
isn't
not
good
gonna be
either.
drawing with crayons for
But
my
like my aspiration for Modulution is like Unlead Studio, for gaming.
I don't know
Those
about
kind
gaming.
of.
Talk to Rob about gaming studios. He'll give you an earful about
Yeah,
exactly how they
well,
work.
I'll use C
I'm not sure. I'm
basically.
not sure about if you want to be in that space. I try. There is so in town like probably a 10-minute walk is a Mainframe, right? A very famous animation studio, and they did a lot of stuff for EA as well, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a guy that works there, and he's desperately trying to get event modeling in there because their process is so bad in terms of like how you deal with video game and 3D rendering projects and all of those types of things.
Oh, sure.
They're horrible.
It's complicated, yeah.
It's not complicated. It's kind of like cowboy coding type of how if you look at badly implemented agile things, it's kind of like that. It's not really good. So I mean, I'm obviously this is hearsay because I'm repeating what someone else, someone else's opinion. So, but anyway, be careful what you ask for. You might get it.
Yeah. So there's this license for software houses and consultants, and the fourth one is for enterprises where you have on-premise version, right?
Yeah.
So Docker Compose app, and a company can run it. So
Yeah.
on their own.
So do you understand this chart now? That's exactly what Modulution does, is it allows you to switch the view and start to actually plan out workflows properly from a high-level event storming. Rafael, can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, like we've got integration with some with Jira and ClickUp, and ClickUp is for free. So if you need to sum up some reports and Excel, and you need to, for instance, calculate how much items are in progress, right? I don't feel like you should have it in Modulution because you can do it on many ways. And so you just have it in ClickUp with 2 clicks, integration clips, and done. So this kind of stuff allows you to still visualize what items are in progress on event modeling. So you'll have them in the statuses in event modeling and the estimations as well from the event modeling. But if you want to sum them up in a Excel or in a table, or you want to do something more, than because you require it, then you have it this way. For now, at least.
Excellent. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you came on to talk to us, the community again. And let's we should probably talk about the
I know that you wanted to have this, this project planning within the tool, but basically we did the integration with a free tool, and hopefully all the features and even more what you want, you'll get out of it.
Yeah.
The same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I'm using ClickUp for like half a year, and I'm quite surprised how well it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have all of these things. I'm just trying to go back to basics, especially with this stupid little Miro automation thing. Just go into JavaScript and
oh my goodness,
grab. I mean, did you see? It's easy, right? You just click this.
Yeah,
thing.
Of course. Yes,
Boop.
yes.
There you go. It's pretty. It's just fun. It's a toy project, but I think it's good for the community to understand. And with something they can touch, that how much work has gone on to ONode and Modulution. Because if they try to attempt it themselves in a fun open source project, they're like, okay,
it's tremendous amount of work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but it exposes the limitations of Miro quite nicely, and they can understand exactly why Miro is failing in a lot of these scalability things. Because I mean, there's 607 objects in here. And it's it can be optimized,
that's why I
right?
told you, like, gaming is the thing here. In order to make it work, one need to implement the level of details functionality, and then it will work
well
properly.
I don't know if you knew, but we had Emily as one of our first in the first 2 years. We had a contractor. She actually quit her PhD because she liked this way of thinking about systems, and like, okay, I can actually work and make things here rather than continue with my PhD. Really smart. And she ended up using event sourcing and event modeling to build games. Said, this is actually a proper way to think about storyboards and things like that, because what do you have in games? What do you have in movies? Storyboards, right? About what happens to the conceptual level. But then it drives and it drives into the implementation. You can map those pieces, those individual state transitions of what characters are doing.
You can even have a swim lane with emotions. Why not?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I
like
do that.
What people feel when they play in this particular moment, right? To make the whole story plot, more controllable.
I do that with I do that with the where is it here?
Like from we did actually a transition from which basically from event modeling we enriched it with the concept taken from the journeys,
journeys, yeah, you can put them like over here. We do that. We have track hours. It's a journey to track your hours. Here's your journey to approve hours, blah blah blah, right?
and then have the emotions, how the people think, and what, like, backstage, front stage, things like that.
I wanted to show you something that that was interesting.
And
here.
If you want to show, please, maybe enlarge Miro, because on half of the screen I can see the JavaScript, and it's pretty large.
Do you like
see the
it?
details, and then on the bottom I can see your console.
Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing secret there. Some UUIDs of my hard drives. If you hack my computer because of it, congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah. See, this is what I was talking about. Entered the store, purchased the bread. This is the actual events, just like you're talking about your emotions. What do I feel? I feel like I just bought the bread, so I want to, finish my task on my to-do list. Can you see it now? Am I zooming
Yeah,
in
I can
enough?
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a good format for our meetup, but that's okay. I just didn't have time to fiddle with OBS screens right now. I will have it for next time though. So anyway, yeah, lots of this is all from last season. These lessons, it's pretty cool. And this stuff about making stored procedures for event store was pretty cool. Shoving invariants into actual events.
I think that it would make sense as well to talk. I don't know if you talk a lot about transaction borders with swim lanes.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
do?
mean,
Oh,
the swim lanes are subdivided into what traditionally are in DDD anyway, aggregates. So
yeah,
it's the same idea, but we're kind of loosening the definition here.
Have you
to
thought
be,
about the
to have this
hierarchy of swim lanes? I'm thinking
hierarchy.
about
Yes,
it.
I do. Oh yeah, I do talk about. There's a couple of hierarchies. So here's one. If you're talking about
one is like in the swim lanes, and the second one is vertical, right?
Yeah, that's right. So here, well, for the one we were talking about, Wordly maps, we use the hierarchy for something else. We use the hierarchy for Genesis custom product commodity to show how over time online payments become ubiquitous and free, right, over the different years. But in how we organize swim lanes, ideally in an event model, is somewhere here. And that's actually a good point because so we have meta views such as entered the store. We have actual meta events and business events here. Actually, sorry, I'm actually dissecting something here. There's another one.
Have you enriched your model with some new labels?
Yes.
Like in terms of labels, I'm talking about stuff like work in progress, right?
Yes, of course we do that in live.
Yeah,
projects.
sure. Like I know that you do that, but
yeah.
What kind of other labels do you use?
Like
we haven't talked for a longer period.
What do they look like? We try to encode them inside here. So for example, here, if I was to do that, or implementing something, let me zoom in. I would say that this is on validation, the workflow, and I think we use square brackets, which is horrible to do regex on, but anyway, validation. Actually, no, we do a statement of work first. So for example, if this is infrastructure statement of work, so we put like infra, and we put comma, which workflow is that? That's validation. Then we would close that. That gives you the scope of where this belongs to.
So basically, this is labeling the block that it belongs to infra.
Infra is a statement of work. So for a client, we may have, a few statements of work, such as for insurance company, it might be contact management, pricing would, or maybe quotes and pricing would be a second one. If we're working on the whole system, we would have 2 or 3 or 4 statements of work that they can use that internally for their budgets. Within those statements of work are the actual small workflow pieces. Like in this case, if we're talking about, we're working on infrastructure, a statement of work, because this is dissecting how event store works. So if we're working on a competitor to event store or something, we would have a statement of work that captures infrastructure, for example, as one statement of work. And inside that infrastructure, there's some validation workflow. Fine, we put that in. And then I would put like an atom, and then, or my initials probably, like AD. And then I would put in done if it was finished. Or I just leave it blank if it wasn't assigned. Or if I was doing it right now, I'd put in progress. And then, in Miro, what we do here is just save as export to a spreadsheet, CSV. The CSV is really not a CSV, It's the
Yeah, I
text.
know.
It's a text. It's a text from every
I know. I
box.
checked it. Yeah,
And
it's horrible.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
give you
like,
much. It's not really a
what?
CSV. There's
I
no
know.
commas separating any fields. At least I
Yeah,
didn't find any. It's
no.
basically a line. Yeah, one text,
Yeah.
one piece of text for every object in the board, in plain text. That's all. So we do that, but because
Okay.
we have like
Okay.
a
So a statement of work is like an epic, I suppose, right? Something
no,
like
no,
that.
no. It's a
No?
business level thing. It's literally
Business level
it's at
thing.
the level of departments within an organization.
I see.
At
Okay.
your client. So, for
Okay.
example, the client would need
Yeah.
to,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I get it.
allocate some budget
Mm-hmm.
to their
Who is
underwriters.
paying for it,
Yeah,
right?
the underwriting team is paying for these
Mm-hmm.
features, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I
That's
see.
exactly right.
Great.
So that's kind of how we organize
Awesome.
it.
Oh, we'll see. Okay. Well, it's highly possible that even in this beta you'll have custom labels.
Yeah, I mean, if you just introduce tags, you can tag things. I mean, just add
Yeah,
tags,
well,
and you can because other companies won't bother with statements of work, and they don't work that way. So
yeah, but
you
it's
shouldn't
like
force
you
it.
know, like you would the initial specification of it is like you would define your types of you know of your tags or labels, and then you can use them basically within the project.
Yeah. So
Scope of the project.
to answer your initial question, the swim lanes are organized in the spectrum of visibility to swim lanes to end users. It kind of follows Wardley map, how you map the user needs to the components that fulfill them. So the very technical things are at the very bottom if you need to show them or supporting things. And at the top, you have all the more human things, such as actual events like entered the bank or whatever. That's not in the system. It just gives you whether the person's happy or not. What you're talking about, those journeys, right? You can put those in here. And then here you start to actually look at the information that's flowing. So that's where this is, hit a button on the screen. That's the form that gets sent. Most likely those things are happening at the top level. And then any kind of background services that you're adding, they slowly start to make their ways into deeper and deeper swim lanes. So the reason behind that is you want things when the business is looking at stuff, they're most familiar with what the users will have to see, and and the events that are at the level of reflecting what's happening in that UI, so that they don't get distracted.
So what about this product edit? There's this thing.
Oh, this is what we're doing for showing concurrency within event store itself. It's actually a technical. It's an application of event modeling to a technical problem, not a line of business problem. So it's not a good example.
Oh, I see.
Right. So I mean, what we have here is we have streams and things like that, stream data, and we have things like anyway, I think this was just an example. Yeah, we have some of these things like meta views. So we were playing with pushing things that are distracting from the user to have meta views or other things, helper views, to actually be pushed out of the input-output piece. I'm not sure if it's going to fly. I think if we have a proper show hide swim lane, that the whole workflow should shrink horizontally to remove these things. So these things should actually be at the top along with the other views. But if you shrink the swim lane of the more technical stuff, it should automatically also make these things disappear that are technical from the middle piece, so that you shrink the whole workflow and you're not swimming through a lot of irrelevant pieces in the workflow that the business has no interest in seeing, and to distract from the overall goal. So again, I always think that shrinking a swim lane should shrink the whole timeline, because those pieces shouldn't be shown. And you can have little pluses along the way to say that there's stuff hidden here, there's stuff hidden here. It's because you hid this swim lane here, and that's okay. It's a navigation tool to allow you to see a top-down view of what's going on, or at least have things in in view that you choose to view. Like, for example, if you're dealing with payment, you might want to actually hide some of the top level stuff and just look at where in your workflows payment is being dealt with and only quickly go through those, right? Especially if
Do
you're...
you have the example with like a business event, typical business event?
No, not of this. I didn't redo this in anything else. It was one of the meetups that we talked about this conceptually, and we're throwing out, different ideas on how to do it. I don't like having the views in a separate thing. I think it just starts to make the whole thing more complicated.
Because
I
like
do wanna
we
start
have
to...
a little bit different approach to that. We also do have some like environmental events. So we do think that there might be some different types of events. So basically, you place them in a different swim lanes. It's okay. But for business, I'm thinking about basically a different view, because they won't be interested in those technical details anyhow. So if they want to drill in, they want to see a different map with a different things that are blended in the map.
Right.
So it's like a street map versus some map with countries. Like there are totally different maps, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait for the next few months. I'm excited.
I'm also excited.
Heading into winter is always just a flurry of activity, and I know I'm going to be running on fumes by the time December hits. I'm going to need another rest.
Just a question, like, have you ever thought about exposing the infrastructure to, event sourcing?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I do. So an example, it's not really infrastructure, but it's kind of like one of the libraries that we exploded into event modeling, which is, where is it on this diagram? Oh my goodness, too many
If
things.
anybody is interested in .NET and libraries to the .NET, I will be happy to talk with him. We are having our own infrastructure for that, but certainly there is lots of things to do. But the API is awesome.
This. So, for example, I would do something like this for infrastructure. In this case, I'm showing how this is showing how the template, the HTML template works. So it's basically mapping a model to a template. Where do we have it? Oh, here we do. Here we have it. So, you have the template, which has entry.
But basically you are visualizing it,
well,
right?
This is the template expanded, so people understand where range tags is and all this kind of stuff. But then it maps to this model. So this model can say yesterday we logged these times for these projects. So today we have these, and so now I have to map my model and to this template, populate the template with this model, iterate on the things that repeat, blah blah blah. And so, well, how do we do that? Well, let's see. If we actually debug the code, you'll see this and the loops and the variables at each step. So this is exactly like pressing F10 or whatever in your IDE, going through and show exactly how it builds up the filled-in template step by step, and therefore at the end, when you're done, you understand that you're finished, but then your actual view shows exactly here. In this case, we use the shopping cart HTML to show exactly how it works. And then if you look at that code that I had in Writer, then it shows exactly this, right?
When I see what you are doing, right, this basically proves me that it's great that we are building this modeling platform, because at some point in time, even this kind of diagrams will allow you to do what you want to do.
Of course, yeah. I can see. And the only difference for people to understand how that changes is that you upgrade your you start using events in things that are not just stored on disk. You start to think about transient things like
Yeah, but like
variable scope and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you basically figure it out how to visualize this stuff, right?
Mhm.
And then why not like allow people to do it? And then
exactly, yeah, it's a
and
proper way
then
to visually understand the programming
yeah,
concept, right? And it's
but
again,
define
programming
the
is information changing and flow as well.
yeah
It just may be too, it may be too detailed for business to care, unless the business
exactly
is making a template engine. Then they do care.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited about the next few months.
Yeah, that'll be really good. So we should probably arrange the the conference and get some dates, and that will definitely give you some timelines as to when things should be good and ready, at least for
Awesome.
everyone to do that. So okay, well I think we're out of time anyway. So Rafael, thanks for dropping by. I know we were planning to do something, and I'm glad to see that you noticed we were live and we got some sneak peek as to what the next swim lanes are going to look like. And so let's do the podcast. When you're ready, just let me know and we'll record it live on YouTube as well. People can watch live if they want, and they can
Awesome.
they can post questions and we can include it in that episode of the podcast, which will be fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
All right, everyone, this is a good first proper live stream for the fall. Look for the next one next week, and then hopefully a week after that we'll do the podcast with Rafael. So thank you everyone for joining, and look for way more cool topics and subjects later. So until next week, everyone, thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.